The college basketball experience, UConn Huskies 2022-23 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, presented by WynnBET. Bet $100 at WynnBET and get a $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by the SGPN merch store. Use the promo code NFCBeast for 15% off, which is active until the Eagles or Giants lose their next game. And let me tell you, there are some great t-shirts there, the campus edition, college football and college basketball shirts. Check those out. And then remember to let it ride.
This is Jim Mora, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college basketball experience. UConn Huskies 2022-23 season preview episode. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink, and I don't have stress, and I'm healthy.
Nothing like talking some UConn Husky basketball. Shout out, subscribe to the college basketball experience, subscribe to the college football experience. If you heard Jim Moore Jr. on the intro, shout out to the friend of the program. He's doing a great job in year one with the UConn football program. I think they're going to get better and better, and I'm excited about that. But we come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. Subscribe there, and we are joined by former video coordinator for the West Virginia Mountaineers basketball program. He was only employed by Hall of Fame coach Bob Huggins. Give it up for my guy, Ryan McIntyre. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing good, Colby. We're talking UConn Huskies, year 5 of the Dan Hurley era, man.
Yeah. And, I mean, I hate to, I'm excited about the future of UConn hoops and football, both. And baseball. Great subscribe to the college baseball experience. UConn baseball had a good season. But I'll be honest, I did play in New Mexico State on the money line the first round of the NCAA tournament a season ago, because I was a big fan of that New Mexico State team, and it worked out for me. But I do think, Dan Hurley has reestablished a lot of talent coming through Stores. But at the same time, I got to see him get some wins in March. And I think your average UConn fan will probably tell you the same. What do you make of that?
No, I agree with you. And they lose a lot, but they also got a lot of talent coming in. I mean, the main guy, RJ Cole, was kind of the main guy that got UConn going back in the right direction. You talked about it. I mean, they lose to New Mexico State to end a season that probably should have went a little farther. But the reality is Danny Hurley still hasn't won an NCAA tournament, and this is year number 5, and it's UConn.
Yeah. And, I feel like you look back at last year and you say 23-10, 13-6, fantastic. That's yes. Things are back to where they should be. But 13-19 ATS, ouch, that's not good from a gambling point of view. But adjusted offense, 22nd in the nation, 43rd in adjusted defense, 138th at shooting the 3. Offensive rebounding, 2nd in the nation. I mean, fantastic numbers here. Defensive rebounding, 150th. Free throw shooting, 59th in the nation. Pace, 300th. But that doesn't tell me if you're a good team or not. Look at Texas Tech and UVA and stuff. They're terrible at pace. 102nd in turnover rate. And you sit there and you rattle off. Those numbers are all fantastic, in my opinion. But you don't even get out of the first round of the NCAA tournament. It doesn't speak for what the numbers tell me. The Big East is a loaded conference, and you put up those numbers, something's up, right?
No, I agree with you. I mean, I thought this was because we at West Virginia we played UConn and we actually beat UConn last year in Morgantown. But this was one of the more talented teams. I mean, they're 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" at the wing position. Then they got Sanogo in the middle. He was almost 6'10", and then he's blocking shots left and right. I mean, they got size, athleticism. They play fast, like you said, with the pace statistics. They got everything they need. They can't get over the hump right now. It seems like they can't. They're going in the right direction in terms of he took over a bad situation at the end of the Kevin Ollie era, but this is a program that should be in the second weekend of the March Madness every single year,
every single year. And I think I do think Dan Hurley's on. And I'm not trying to say he should be fired or anything. I'm just saying that he hasn't really performed well in the tournament. Sometimes coaches got to learn that. And I think at one point in Bill Self's career, pre-Kansas, back when he was at Tulsa and going to Illinois, I think he had some struggles, and people were saying, I don't know.
But Jay Wright.
Yeah. So maybe this is the year they prove everybody wrong, Even you watch the Jimmy V documentary on 30 for 30 that they did on Jimmy Valvano back at NC State, you would see the same situation. So maybe this could be that year. I think there's a lot of room for optimism. Dan Hurley's 73-47 in 4 years at UConn. I'm not implying he's on the hot seat by any means yet. I just think he's getting the program back to where it should be. They're way more talented than they were a few years ago. And I think if you're a UConn fan, you should be encouraged by that. And I think you should be excited about this upcoming season. So, and how about this NIL era? I think UConn football and basketball could really be, now that it's legal to pay players. I mean, I think both those teams, football and basketball, should be very, very good. There's a lot of money going around Connecticut. You can have a powerhouse. There's, I don't see why not. You know what I mean? Like, so, that'll be interesting to watch. When I look back at last year's team, I know you touched on it. RJ Cole is gone, 15.8 points per game, 4.1 assists per game. So, I mean, losing him, you're losing Tyrese Martin, losing even like Isaiah Whaley, and okay, I'd say Akok, who was a guy that I think they had thought he has a ton of potential and could really work out. I know he got dinged up, but also lost Jalen Gaffney and Rahsool Diggins. But I think, that is a lot of production to lose. But I'm kind of excited at what they brought in.
Yes.
I think if you look at what they brought in, you could say, hey, I think this team's going to be better than last year's team, at least on paper. You look at, some of these key pieces, the portal gives, the portal takes, as you saw Akok leave to Georgetown. So even brutal that he leaves in conference. So you're going to be playing him. You also lost Corey Floyd Jr. to Providence and Ed Cooley. So you're going to be playing these guys. But I still think at the end of the day, I mean, yes, I think you'd rather have them follow the Jalen Gaffney route and go to Florida Atlantic or the Rahsool Diggins to UMass or something. But it is what it is. They bring in, I think, some pretty key pieces here. Hassan Daria from Texas A&M. He played previously at Virginia Tech, and they bring in Nahiem, Alleyne from Virginia Tech. Those two were teammates not that long ago in Blacksburg. Two huge gets that I think can really pay off this year. And then when you look at the fact that they landed my guy Tristen Newton from East Carolina, jeez,
huge, yes.
Brutal. I'm an East Carolina fan, folks, if you're just listening to this. So that's, I you know what? This team's going winless. No, I'm joking. But then you factor in also that they bring in freshman Donovan Clingan, and you also get the San Diego transfer, Joey Calcaterra, and I think they're actually in a better spot with another year under the belt for some of their players that they had. I'm looking at, obviously getting Sanogo back is probably the best player in the Big East. But not only that, getting Andre Jackson Jr., Jordan Hawkins, I think some of those guys, another year. I think this team is ready to take the next step forward, at least on the court. And I think they're a better roster than they were a year ago. What do you make of that?
No, I agree with you. And I mean, they added, they're going not only is their starting five good, their bench is good. I mean, you mentioned it with Alleyne and Diary. I mean, sorry if I'm butchering those names, but I mean, you complement that with Klingon with the freshman big man to put behind Sonogo, so they're going to have rim protection nonstop. And then your guy from East Carolina, Newton, he does a little bit of everything, and he's got size at the point guard position where he averaged 18, 5, and 5 at ECU last year. Then you got Hawkins and Jackson. So this is another athletic, fast UConn team with size. I mean, this should be another very, very good defensive team in UConn.
Yeah, and keep an eye on the redshirt freshman, Alex Carabon.
You didn't mention him either.
Yeah, I think he's going to be an impact player. Let's project the starting five, but before I do that, I want to get us paid. I want to tell you folks out there that the UConn Huskies 2022-23 season preview episode on the College Basketball Experience and the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks presented by WynnBET. Bet $100 at WynnBET and get a $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by the SGPN merch store. Check out the college campus edition t-shirts we got going around. They're absolutely fantastic. We're also brought to you by No House Advantage. No House Advantage is changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. You can play in pick'em contests versus other people for a shot at winning $250K in cash. Download the app, choose a contest, select your player props, earn points for corrected picks, and climb up that leaderboard for your shot to win big money every single day. You can also test your skills against the house and win up to 20 times the amount of money you enter if you hit all your picks. Sign up now with the promo code SGPN at nohouseadvantage.com or download the app in the App Store or Google Play Store to get a first deposit match up to $25. We're also brought to you by Babbel. All right, look, if you're like me and there's a foreign language that maybe you slept through the entire high school, your entire 7 years of high school, it's never too late to start with Babbel. All right, they give you that mulligan that everyone needs. All right, Babbel's a language learning app that's sold more than 10 million subscriptions. And look, what's great, when I was in high school, when I wasn't paying attention in Spanish, I had block scheduling. So you can imagine 2 hours of learning Spanish was fucking horrible. All right, it was just overwhelming, right? Well, what's great about Babbel is they do the 10-minute lesson plans, all right? And in 3 weeks, they'll have you having real-life conversations in a new language. Come on, people, check it out. Other language learning apps are using AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel's lessons were created by over 150 different language experts and voiced by real native speakers, not computers. And their teaching methods have been scientifically proven to be effective. And get this, you can choose from 14 different languages: Spanish, French, Italian, German. It's all there for you. Start your new language learning journey today with Babbel. Right now, we're giving you 55% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/SGP. That's BABBEL.com/SGP. Up to 55% off, people. Babbel, it's language for life, people. All right. Back talking UConn Huskies hoops here. Projecting the starting five is interesting. And it is hard for even a team with this much turnover. College sports, it's the transfer portal. It's insane. Mixing that with bringing in freshmen, it is a bit of a challenge to nail the starting five. But I think we can go with Tristen Newton.
Yes,
at the one as a for sure lock. I'm a bit interested at what happens at the two. I think it could be Alleyne. I know Jordan Hawkins is there. I think it might be Alleyne and then Hawkins on the bench. They also have Andre Jackson, and then it could be Daria. I'm a little bit, gun to my head here. I'm going to go Newton at the one, Alleyne at the two. I'm even going to say Jackson at the three. At the four, that's another thing. If they go small ball, they have the option of going small ball, but I don't think they will. I think they're going to go Alex Carabin, the redshirt freshman, and then obviously Sonogo at the five. How about you? Would you project that, or would you go with Hawkins starting at the two, or maybe do you go Hassan Daria at the three? I don't know. I mean, it's a little tricky.
I'll probably go Alleyne at the two just because he shot almost 38% from three, and I thought that actually was one of UConn's weaknesses last year is they couldn't stretch the defense from downtown. they were as athletic as anybody, but you got them in a half-court game. That's how you beat them, and that's how New Mexico State picked them off in the tournament. But, I mean, you mentioned it. I think Caravan will start at the 4. He was a redshirt freshman, sat out last year, got on campus the beginning of the year, right when the new semester started, travel with the team, practice. So he has a leg up on the regular freshman in terms of being in that program, lifting weights, going to class, being a part of the program, being through the March Madness already. So I think he's going to step in and be a stretch 4 guy for to complement Sonogo inside.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what really could make them really a force this year. I think it's going to be really exciting to watch them.
It's a good team.
Yeah, it really is. And let's just hop into the schedule and look at the non-con in the 2022 part of the schedule. Obviously, the college basketball season goes from 2022 into 2023. And remember, folks, when the season tips, we will be here. We've been doing this for years, and we will be not only handicapping all the college basketball games, every single one, every night of the season. You will hear me every single night of the season. You'll hear us, and we will be picking games, our best bets, but not only from a gambling perspective. I mean, obviously, we're part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, but also we love college hoops. So just talking about the best matchups, best games, the matchups within the matchups. You know what I mean? If Sonogo's playing, whoever, we're going to just have a lot of fun with it. Starting off on November 7th, the Huskies take on, it's nice to get a fresh face to D1 hoops. Stonehill. Shout out to Stonehill. I just read a great article. I don't know if it was The Athletic or ESPN a couple weeks ago about their aspirations and the fact that they're just jumping up in at the time their football program is undefeated. I think they're 3-1 right now in the FCS. Remember, subscribe to the College Football Experience because we also cover the FCS as well. That's a nice welcome to D1 college basketball. Here is UConn basketball. UConn wins by 40. Right? What are you doing here?
Yeah, welcome to D1 basketball, Stonehill from Easton, Massachusetts. Yeah, the Huskies are going to roll 40-50 here. So, but hey, glad to have you. We're pulling for you.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. Let's go. Then in stores at the Pavilion there, BU, Boston, the Terriers coming to town. That's going to be a win too. That's going to be Boston. They've had some years where they had some decent programs, but I don't think they're there right now. I don't think they can play with UConn. So easy first 2 games, right?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think they roll here too.
Now it gets interesting though, because the Buffalo Bulls, they are athletic. Like I think UConn's going to beat Buffalo, but I can tell you this: there is a gigantic difference between Stonehill, Boston, and Buffalo. Buffalo actually gets athletes, and you've seen them have some tournament success. Now I know,
that
was Bobby Hurley was there, then Alabama's
Nate
coach,
Oates.
Nate Oates. They've ran through some coaches, but they're still a talented team. And if you do not bring your A game, you could lose this game. Having said that, I have UConn 3-0. You?
Yep, I'm 3-0 as well.
And then another one. UNC Wilmington was good last year. They were the 1 seed in the CAA. They lost it to Delaware in the championship game, but UNC Wilmington is not bad. So, like I said, I expect UConn to win these games. But I'm just saying, if you decide to take an off night here, or if you shoot a bad percentage, do not be surprised if this is, 71-71 with 45 seconds left. All right. Having said that, I got UConn to win this game. What are you doing here?
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with the Huskies, but you mentioned it. Wilmington, that's a good non-conference game.
It is. It really is. Buffalo and Wilmington challenging yourself. Well, this one's not, though. And that is when you host Delaware State. Delaware State's awful. You will win by 47 points in this one or more. All right, so give me the Huskies to open up. I think if you're a UConn fan, you should definitely expect a 5-0 start heading into the Phil Knight Invitational, which is just a loaded slate of talent here. But you got them undefeated too, right?
Yeah, no, I think Stonehill and Delaware State should play though.
Yes, that's what should be happening. Instead, the cruel reality of entering D1 college basketball, having a game at UConn. Ouch. Then, so that we know they're going to be taking on Dana Altman and Oregon in Portland. That's fucking brutal.
I know.
It's brutal because if they were getting like Alabama or Michigan State, which obviously they're going to get next, but there's a huge advantage. This is going to be all Oregon fans. I'm curious how many UConn fans are going to make the trip. They should because they're going to need it. I got them losing this one.
Yeah, I go back and forth on this one. I think with all the new pieces, I think they get beat here. I got them splitting the first two rounds and being 1-1 after the first 2 days at the PK tournament.
Yeah, they get the winner of Alabama, Michigan State, or the loser, depending on how that shakes out. But
that's a loaded tournament again.
And folks, they get a third game. By the way, the Oregon game is on Thanksgiving. We get the Egg Bowl, college football. We get those NFL matchups, and we get some great college basketball matchups. And one of them is pretty much Oregon hosting a home game against UConn. Oh man! If you want to know the other teams in this tournament too, there's two different brackets, right? As far as I understand.
Yeah, this one has North Carolina, and they're playing Portland, so they get the bye basically for this standards. And then the other or the quarterfinal is Villanova, Iowa State. So definitely this side of the bracket's harder. I mean, UConn, Oregon, Michigan State, Alabama. One of those four teams is walking away 0-2.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah.
Look, I think UConn's going to get a win here, but it wouldn't shock me if they went winless.
Yeah,
would not shock.
Yeah, for the first 2 days, because obviously Portland is is the team that's gonna go 0-3 throughout the 3 days. But I mean, one of those four teams is walking away 0-2, which is crazy because those are four quality teams.
I got them getting one. One. Then they head out of that, so that would put them at. So wait, that would put them at what? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7-1, heading into December, correct?
Yes. Hey, Colby, you know what's crazy? Them and Villanova are in the same bracket.
So
Villanova's on the other side, so theoretically they could play Villanova out in Portland in a non-conference game.
That would be pretty awesome. I'm actually rooting for that. Yeah. So I think as a UConn fan, obviously your best case scenario is undefeated. I think it's more likely that you have a loss.
Yeah.
What would be a bad November? Three losses? 4 probably, right?
Through November. Yeah, well, that means you dropped one of those 5 home games. Yeah, that would be atrocious home game, atrocious November. I would say if you can get out of there with 1 loss, that's a good November. 2 losses, it is what it is. 3 would be really bad.
Yeah, and then December 1st, the Big East Big 12 battle. Now this one is in stores, so because if it was in Stillwater, I think I'd still favor UConn, but it would, hitting the road in college sports is always tough. I got UConn taking down Oklahoma State in Mike Boynton squad. You?
Yeah, tough spot for Oklahoma State going all the way to Connecticut. So, I'll ride the home team here.
Then they head to Gainesville on December 7th. This is an interesting matchup because Todd Golden, new head coach coming into Florida, formerly at San Francisco with the Dons. And I almost don't know what to expect. I mean, I expect UConn to win this game, but maybe I am undervaluing Florida under Golden. It's going to be something I got to really pay attention to in November. I got this as a win for UConn. You?
Yeah, no, just because it's year 5 of Hurley versus year 1. But shout out to these two schools for playing a home and home here.
Yeah, I want to see more games on college campuses. Sorry, yes. Phil Knight, that Portland thing. I'd still rather see a tournament where, how about all those teams play each other but on their college campuses? All right. December 10th, last home game. Last out of conference game. They get Rod Strickland. He's the new coach of the Sharks of Long Island, the former Washington Bullets point guard. That's going to be a win, but that'll be fun to watch. Rod Strickland, getting in the mix. So I got them with one loss heading into conference play. You?
Yeah, no, one loss, and I mean that'd be incredible if you're a UConn fan. And we touched on it with the other Big East previews. The best part about the Big East is this year 20-game gauntlet that starts mid-December.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's look at the rest of the 2022 side of the schedule, and then we'll go into 2023. They open up Big East play in Indianapolis on December 17th against the Butler Bulldogs. I smell an upset. Give me Thad Matta and the Butler Bulldogs with an upset at Hinkle Fieldhouse. This is the fucking place they filmed Hoosiers, and the real game that Hoosiers is based on happened in this stadium. Look, this is a dangerous place to go into and try to grab a dub. And people are sleeping on my Butler Bulldogs. I know you're laughing at me. You're smirking over there. People are sleeping on them a little bit.
I like the Butler Bulldogs. I think they're going to be feisty come February, but I'm going to go UConn for the time being.
Going UConn. Then Patrick Ewing comes in the stores. And the Hoyas on December 20th. I got them taken down. I got them bouncing back, take down Georgetown by double digits. You?
Yeah, I think they'll beat Georgetown. The UConn's always tough at home.
Then Wednesday, December 28th.
Ooh.
Kyle Neptune. There's no more Jay Wright. He's doing broadcasting now. Kyle Neptune and the Villanova Wildcats come into Hartford, Connecticut. What are you doing here?
Could this be a rematch of earlier in the month?
Yes, that makes it so fucking intriguing, man. I'm gonna take UConn to get it done.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna take UConn as well. It could be. We could see UConn Villanova 4 times this year, maybe even 5 if they both advance, which we've never seen before in college basketball. But yeah, no, I find that crazy still that they're still in the same PK tournament together.
Yeah, agreed. Then New Year's Eve, man, these games are fucking great. We just did all the Big 12 previews. The Big 12 loaded its slate for New Year's Eve. And then you're telling me I get this matchup? UConn heads to Cincinnati, Ohio. Try the Skyline Chili as they take on Sean Miller and the Xavier Musketeers. Call me crazy. I got another upset. I'm taking Xavier to get the dub in Cincinnati.
No, I'm with you. I love Xavier, especially when they're playing in Cincinnati. So I think UConn goes into 2023 with 2 losses.
I'm saying 3, and that's the difference I like. Let's talk the rest of the schedule, but before we do that, I want to tell you folks out there that the college basketball experience is brought to you by Fubo TV. If you watch football and basketball, well, you need Fubo TV. Fubo TV gives you complete coverage of college and pro basketball and football. They give you everything you need, NFL Red Zone, games in 4K at no extra charge. There's over 100 channels of live sports and entertainment for a fraction of the price of cable. You can watch it on all your devices. Never miss a game or an episode of your favorite sports. They give you included cloud-based DVR, plus there's no contract, there's no commitment. You can cancel at any time. Right now, you can try Fubo TV for free for 7 days and get 15% off your first month. Just go to FuboTV.com/SGP. That's FUBOTV.com/SGP. We're also brought to you by Odds Trader. Odds Trader is a place to compare odds from all the major sports books. You can also compare the different sign-up codes and promo codes from sportsbook to assure yourself that you get the very best deal possible. It also has a bet tracker, so bettors can keep records of all your games and betting activity. The app gives you player stats, key game stats, injury reports, projected game day weather, all this good stuff. So check it all out. Go to oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. OddsTrader, the #1 site for all your game day bets. All right, we are back talking Huskies hoops. Cannot wait for the season. Love these matchups. I'm just super excited for that New Year's. I got to tell my wife, honey, look, I got a lot of work. That's the best part about working in sports. You can just say, hey, honey, it's a big work day. All right. Yeah, I'll have a glass of champagne, but do me a favor. Keep cooking over there. I'm joking. I cook on the holidays. Here we go. Starting 2023. Can Dan Hurley started off on the right foot here? with a head January 4th. They head to Providence, Rhode Island, to take on Ed Cooley and the reigning Big East champs. Whew. At the dunk, even though they don't call it the dunk anymore, it's some new thing. But man, what are you doing here?
I think they get this one back just because they lost to Xavier the game before.
I agree.
Man, I'll tell you what, this Big East is a gauntlet. I mean,
is.
It's like the Big 12. There's no nights off.
Yeah. Where would you, like, if you had to pick a stretch that they would, the hardest 3-game stretch where every UConn fan's going to cringe when they see those 3 games in a row, where do you think that would be?
I'm scrolling through it right now. I would probably go to, where's the Villanova game? It's not the end of the year because they put Villanova at the end. I would probably go, a tough stretch here is the Marquette, Creighton, Seton Hall in the middle of February, just because I know they've always struggled at Creighton for some reason.
Creighton's good at home, man.
And Creighton, like you said, Creighton is really good at home. I think, honestly, the hardest stretch is right out of the new year, though.
I agree. I was just about
where
to say.
it's Xavier, Providence, and Creighton, but but we only did 2 games in the new year, so that would be the hardest one if I had to actually choose.
I think you're right. December 31st at Xavier, then following that up January 4th at Providence, and then home to Creighton in Stores. That should be awesome. Okay, let's talk about this. Do you have the UConn Huskies winning the Big East?
I don't. I get the Villanova Wildcats.
Kyle Neptune making headlines in year 1. I'll be honest, I don't either, but I still think this is clearly a tournament team.
Yes.
If I had to guess the pecking order of them in the conference, I think it'll be somewhere between 2 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Creighton being a little bit overrated, and I could see UConn being better than them in the regular season. I could also see a case where Creighton finishes above them, and I could also see a case where maybe Xavier or Butler surprises and you find yourself 4th or 5th in the conference. I think besides that, it's not possible. What do you? And you'd have to have Sanogo get injured or something. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think they're going to finish 3rd again. I think they lose a lot with leadership with Cole and Tyrese Martin, but I mean they reloaded with size, athleticism, like I said earlier in the episode. So I mean I think they're going to finish 3rd again, and they'll be right there in the mix to win it outright. To be honest, if they can win 1 or 2 road games, maybe steal a game at Villanova or Creighton.
Yeah, I agree. So what's the ceiling on this program? Like, what do you think realistically is the furthest they can go? What do you think is a disappointing season for the fans? And what do you think expectations should be as far as NCAA tournament?
Well, the disappointing one's easy. I think it's another repeat of last year where you're a 4 or 5 seed and you get picked off in the round of 64 against a New Mexico State type. Like, the ceiling, I think this team could get to the Final Four if they get the right draw. They got the size, the depth, and these pieces mesh, Newton and the other transfers. I think that's the ceiling. It's Final Four.
I'm going to go Elite 8, but I'm with you. I think once you get that far, anything can happen. We've seen it. I mean, you've seen Wichita States and George Masons and stuff in the Final Four. Yeah, I think let me ask you this. Will fans will he enter the season on the hot seat next year if they lose in the first round?
Yes, because that would be 3 in a row. And then, I mean, it's like we said, like they got 4 national championships since 1999. Yeah. So, I mean, this is a very, very proud program. Yeah, agreed. It's going to be great to watch. I cannot wait to watch Big East basketball in general. It's just such a great conference. But specifically the UConn Huskies the whole season. Cannot wait for that matchup, even against Stonehill. I'll subscribe. Let's go. Yep. Folks, remember we're here every night of the season. All right, when the season tips, every single night. College basketball experience. All right, subscribe, tell a friend. Also remember the college football experience. Still football season. I was on UConn plus the points against Ball State and plus the points against Fresno. Let's go, baby. Jim Mora Jr. is going to start building that thing. I've been super impressed with the toughness of that team with losing Taquan Roberson in the first game of the season. Their starting quarterback out for the year.
they've fought hard. I think they made the right hire there. Found the guy that can really build that program. Come listen to us on the college football experience as we talk. And remember the college basketball experience. I remember UConn going out to Palo Alto to take on Stanford in the college baseball playoffs last year. That was fantastic. We got you covered there with Noah Beanick. We come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. Subscribe, tell a friend, and also remember, check out all of our platforms, but also give us a follow on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. And remember to give Ryan a follow on Twitter at Moneyline_Mac. He doesn't only do this pod, he does the NFL Gambling Podcast. He's the one of the hosts of the NFL Gambling Podcast. He's also one of the hosts of his own show, the Ryan and Rush Show. Check out that as well. And give me a follow on Twitter at the Colby D. NFL Gambling Podcast. It's NFL season. Check that out. Sports Gambling Podcast, obviously, the thing that started it all for all of us. The NBA Gambling Podcast. Check it out. NHL Gambling Podcast. Yes, it's hockey season. Let's go. MLB Gambling Podcast is that season. We're in October. So check out all those, and I think you'll find our work solid. And you get the SGPN app. You'll have access to all of our articles, all of our podcasts, all for free. It's a free download there. Get the SGPN app in the App Store, Google Play Store, and also come talk UConn hoops and baseball and football with us. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. All righty, folks. This is the college basketball experience, UConn Huskies style. And I cannot wait for the season. Till then, see you next time.